that's who. Who put all this shit together, bitch? Me, that's who.
What's the quality of life you are living? And this is what I'm saying. So now you're getting people where it ties back into what's happening that are just doing madnesses. And I'm not gonna say mental health. I'm not gonna say that.
No.
But there's people that are just like, you know what? I'm not just gonna rid myself of. I'm not just gonna rid the world of myself. I'm gonna take a few folks with me as well.
Which is just selfish, man.
And that's just selfish, and that's what you're seeing happen. Where a man will just get a van, I'm just gonna mow down a crowd, but they're able to say, that's an Islam thing or whatever, based on that. But now it's not even that. It's just people that have just gave up, that are just like, I'm done, and they're just doing madnesses. So you gotta think as a parent, you send your child to school, and then you get that call. You've navigated him away from gangs. You've navigated him away from a certain way of thinking. You've worked your hardest to move to, we're talking about London, you know. You've worked your hardest to move to what is deemed a decent area. Yeah. And now you send your child out to school and you get that call. Imagine how you feel like you've done everything right. And now someone's just in the worst way. You have to think of how your child suffered. You have to think of what that felt like. Him dying alone in the street for nothing.
Nothing at all.
He was literally just walking. They don't speak about this on the mainstream, but those parents are going to be questioning everything about their life. They're going to be questioning every kind of reality possible. If they're together, it's very unlikely they'll stay together.
Yeah.
Because this is going to absolutely tear that family apart. And this is what they don't speak about. This is what they don't speak. And this is why I don't feel guilty, for the way I move in life. Because you know what? The odds are against us.
Majorly stacked against us.
So anything we can control. I don't want to be around no wasteful thinking people or no people that don't have nothing to lose or that don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to be around no one like that. Because if you can be wasting time, anyone from the age of, I'm going to be fair right now, anyone from the age of 25 to 40, if you're wasting time right now, I can't have no conversations with you. I can't align. If you can mess around throughout this time.
Especially now.
Oh, if a man does this, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to boot-ins and if you're that young man impressionable, which we all was at one point.
Indeed.
Now you're being kind of subconsciously programmed.
Yes.
To have an aggression, which is why you always notice throughout the years of me on the show or any content, I always say that anger, get it up out your system fast. Because this place is unforgiving. And what I'm saying to you right now, that poor little boy was killed for nothing. Those 4 other innocent individuals were injured for nothing. Listen to that boy who filmed the video who said, he's just killed him outside my house. You might play Call of Duty and all these games. You might watch films and all of this. But to see a dead body or to see somebody killed in front of you, that's not normal.
No.
That's not normal.
And no, never mind an adult, but a child should never see death, man. Never see death. So let's unpack that element. So look at the trauma that child's now going to go through. Seeing that, witnessing that.
1,000. He needs counselling.
Of course. There's a lot of counselling that's going to be needed. But what level of counselling will be provided? What detail of counselling will be provided?
Probably not.
You're gonna have some very angry people, as you say. The destruction. The family is look. Most prayers, rise in paradise. That look a youngster. Love, light to the family. It's gonna be it's a terrible situation that they're in at the moment. A terrible time. There's a lot of pain that's never gonna go away. What happens to cousin? What happens to the little cousin? What happens to the brethren who's like, nah, boss, I need to get one back?
siblings.
You know what I mean? That could turn them. That could like from good guy or good girl to bad girl.
A man could slide for that. Realistically, for that,
Come
a
on.
man. What's to say? A man could, if that's your brother. Let's say he's got a 19-year-old brother, and he looks and just sees that a man just did that in the right countries or the right part of the world. A man would just say, "Here, what? Yeah, I'm gonna touch the road tonight, and I'm gonna level this. I'm gonna level this thing.
This is it.
Like I'm just gonna go to a random cat." And I'm just gonna do what was done to my bro.
Yes.
And this is what I'm saying, and this is what they're almost pushing for, Tira. Because
Well, they're creating an atmosphere and situation where that can happen, Mark, and this is the whole point. They're not necessarily like people can say, "Oh, it was MK Ultra, and you know what I mean, they programmed him to do that." There's a possibility, but realistically, what they're doing is they're setting up situations where chaos, murder can take place. That's all they're doing. They're setting the scene. They're setting the stage for this to take place.
yeah, they're running. They're running a game, man. They're running a game in front of our face, and like I said, a lot of man's focus is on the wrong things. A lot of brothers' focus, let's keep it real, is on the wrong things. You gotta be thinking long term out here, man. We're not gonna be young forever. We're not gonna be young forever. You gotta start understanding to yourself, yo, what direction is Britain really going in? I'm telling you straight, what direction is Britain going in right now? Where are we going to be at in 10 years?
At this current rate, Mark, I dread to think. I dread to think that these 14-year-old children and kids, because I will put a delineation between those two, they're going to be the adults. And look how they look at the respects that adults are given from, or the lack of respect.
None.
That they're going to be 20-odd, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what these streets, it's going to be like Detroit in RoboCop. That's how it's going to be like.
Yeah, man, Gotham City business.
Gotham City mixed with the Purge. Yeah. It's going to be a nightmarish, dystopian terror. Look, just think. Someone who is 60, someone who is 70, look at the change that they have seen. Look at the change.
Yeah, man.
They've had to go from being, if they were a potential bigot or racist, to now, being educated to understand, we're all people at the end of the day, to seeing the country get fucked like this.
It's mad. UK is mad. Mad right now.
And I'm bringing it locally. Brum.
This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the broadcast.
Brum. They've destroyed it, Mark. They've destroyed it.
It's mash up.
Destroyed it.
Mash up.
To the point where you see a Brum video. Or look at the comments. Look at the comments before. It'll be like, listen to them. They sound crazy. The Brum accents and all that. It's not. There's none of that kind of stuff. No, you'll still hear a little bit of ribbing, but generally, it's Brum is hell. I would never go Brum. I can't believe people live in Brum. It's the worst place in England. The knife crime, the drugs, the prostitution, the fly tipping. It's terrible. The roads, the this, the that. And look at the state of the roads. Look how much money we're paying. And look at the state of the roads, Mark. It's like Donkey Kong. We're just dodging potholes everywhere. You can't drive in a straight line in England.
Yeah, man.
Why can't you do that? Because you got manholes that are raised out the bottom. You got potholes. You got big craters in the damn road. Huh?
I was thinking on it, Robo. I was thinking on it the other day, and I was like, yo, I remember the days, when Brum was like, it wasn't so heavily populated. Mm-hmm. I remember like the 2002. I'm obviously young at the time, but I just remember even how Erdington used to be, and we thought it was bad at the time, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad them days. No. Like it was not as bad as it anywhere is now. Just like how people are driving, just the lack of
care.
Just the lack of care to anybody else's, like, it's just crazy, like, to the point where you gotta think a man's walking, yeah, and has to all probably think to himself, yo, even if I live in a nice area, I need a little sinting just to ensure that, you see what I mean? Just to ensure that if anybody does approach me, or, you see what I mean? You just gotta think like that now. Because I was even reading one next thing around that same story where they were saying that a man had a knife and he was like screaming and threatening to stab people, and they phoned the police. And once they phoned the police, like, they just didn't come. They just never came. And the brother literally was like out there for a long time. But if he wanted to, he could have actually attacked the public. But then the police just did not come. They just didn't come, and this is what I'm saying. So you got to think to yourself, the police don't come for things like that. But Met police get called on me or you. They're bringing five cars.
Of course.
But then a situation like that, they're nowhere to be found. Like, this is getting past the joke now. Like, they're allowing these things to happen. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to say it straight. They're allowing these things to happen. They're allowing mental patients back into the street, violent mental patients back into the street. Yeah, man. Look at that brother in Brom who boxed up the old woman and robbed her.
Yeah.
Went to her house. That's not even, like, even if you were broke, like, even if you was on your face, like, how can you think of doing a crime like that? Like, how can you,
crime?
Like, it's like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't care what drugs he's on, spice, whatever. For him to attack that old woman like that. No, but I'm telling you straight, man. I'm telling you. One of them approached me and I'm cutting a man's skin, Noble. I'm not even playing, no, but like, to how they're moving now, what they done to that old woman. Imagine her kids, her children. Imagine her people. Like, imagine knowing that your mom was in the yard, she's pottering along. And don't get it twisted, people. This is a white woman. So I'm showing you the levels that what do you think the indigenous people are starting to think about their own thing? Look at the conversations they're having. So when man is sending me videos of what the comments that the mayor's saying and all that, the potential mayoral candidate, I'm like, she'll probably get more votes. Look how big Joey Barton's gone. Because that's how they feel. They feel like that. They're starting to look and say, yo, and even with all this thing of like, they can't say this or they can't say that, they're starting to separate and say, yeah, man, look how the place is running. And trust me, it's gone. I'm telling you now, make them mash up this place. Make them do what they're doing, you know, because I'm telling you now, I'll just up, take my family, and we'll just go and sit. I'm being real, like, I'll just up, take my family and just go and sit down in one of the islands, or I'll just go and sit down in Africa. I'm telling you the facts. I'm literally telling you the facts, and I'll just go and sit down. And I've kind of worked it out, you know. A man could just live, you know. I don't even mind. I could just live, you know. Trust me. I could just, but I'm not gonna be living in no purge or no. Exactly. No, I'm not living around none of that, because that's what they're doing now. Go onto these man's YouTube channels and all. Everyone's watching Kendrick v. Dre. Go onto these UK man's YouTube channels. White UK brothers. Like, go onto their channels what are talking. Look at the kind of things what them man are saying and how them man are feeling.
Yeah.
Because now they're starting to say, like, you see that crime, what happened with that old woman, how you gonna feel? How like, you see that kind of crime committed to where now a man's just saying, you know what? I just need money. I don't even care who it is.
Yeah.
Now, these things used to happen of old, but they were few and far between.
Very few and far between, and they were shunned. And they were once they got caught and went to prison, they didn't have a pleasant time, because they'd be dead. No, hold up, you're robbing old ladies and busting them up and all that. Okay, we got something for you. We have something for you, something real nice, because there's something called honor among thieves, and I think even that's kind of waning to a degree. But there's certain things that man do not tolerate. That's why they've got that non-swing business, yeah? Protective custody and all that madness.
Yeah, man. You don't do, there's just certain things that are just not that are just outside of humanity.
Listen, Mark, you said on your face, blah blah blah. So how about this is real simple, and this is real simple. You're on your face. Go pick up some blood clot cans, boss, and go take them, go recycle. Get yourself a bike and go around there and pick up scrap and go weigh that thing in. There's money in scrap. There's money in rubbish, sibling.
Yeah,
No, but
there's a bag of things, but they're not going to do it now, but
of
because they're
course.
taught. Because why? They're
They're
taught
lazy. That's why
the
they're
fast way.
lazy.
The fast way. They want it now. And this is not just the youth. This is the olders as well. They want it today. They don't want to, no, but go and pick up scrap and build up a bit. No, they don't want to do that. They need it now. They need it now. And society is telling them they need it now. Society is backing it up. You need it now. Do whatever. Go against your do whatever. And when you do that, we'll still back you up. So then you've got the small voices, the 1 in 1,000 voices that are saying, no, this is wrong. Which is why I said books like The Emperor's New Clothes need to be brought back into circulation. The Emperor's New Clothes is a powerful, powerful story. That's what children need to be reading, because a lot of them are thinking, damn, if I don't think or move like that, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of things that are going on now where they've blurred the lines. They've literally said in one breath, that's wrong. But in the next breath, they're supporting it.